The morning was clear. HMS Prince of Wales steamed alongside HMS Repulse, Force Z, Britain's deterrent, sent to stop Japan. At 0708 the first torpedo struck. Water erupted against her hull. More torpedoes followed. In 12 minutes, the battleship transformed from fighting warship into steel coffin. 327 men died. HMS Prince of Wales was Britain's newest battleship, a King George V-class, commissioned in March 1941. Just 9 months old, she displaced 44,500 tons fully loaded, armed with 10 14-inch guns in an unusual configuration, 2 quadruple turrets, 1 twin turret, 16 5-25-inch dual-purpose guns, numerous anti-aircraft weapons. Her armor was modern, designed to defeat shells and bombs, belt armor up to 15 inches thick, deck armor up to 6 inches. Internal armor protecting magazines and machinery. She represented the latest in British naval design: advanced fire control, radar equipment, modern damage control systems, but she was rushed into service. Teething problems remained, some guns malfunctioned, fire control needed adjustment, civilian workers were still aboard, making final installations, testing systems. She was operational, but not fully ready, not fully debugged. War did not wait for perfection. Prince of Wales had already seen action. In May 1941, she fought Bismarck, the Battle of Denmark Strait. She was hit by Bismarck's guns, suffered damage and casualties, but she hit Bismarck too, ruptured fuel tanks, doomed the German battleship. Prince of Wales contributed to Bismarck's eventual destruction. After repairs, she was sent east, to Singapore, to join Force Z to deter Japanese aggression, to show British power. Winston Churchill believed her presence would make Japan think twice, reconsider invasion, fear British naval might. He was wrong. Force Z was a desperate gamble, 2 capital ships, no aircraft carrier. HMS Indomitable was supposed to join them, but she ran aground, under repair. Force Z sailed without air cover. Admiral Sir Tom Phillips commanded. He believed they could operate without aircraft, believed ships could defend themselves, believed in guns and armor. Prince of Wales joined HMS Repulse. The battlecruiser was older, faster, less armored. Together with 4 destroyers, they formed Force Z on December 8, 1941. They sailed from Singapore. Their mission was aggressive: find Japanese invasion convoys, sink the transports, disrupt the landings. But Japan attacked first. Pearl Harbor on December 7th, then Malaya, then the Philippines. War exploded across the Pacific. Force Z was no longer a deterrent. Now they were targets. Japanese commanders knew they were there, knew they were a threat, planned to destroy them. On December 9th, Japanese reconnaissance spotted Force Z. Reports went to air bases. Bomber squadrons prepared. Loaded torpedoes, waited for morning, waited for clear weather, waited for their chance. December 10th dawned clear, perfect flying conditions, perfect killing conditions. At 06:00 a.m., Force Z was steaming south, returning to Singapore. The mission had been aborted. No invasion convoys found. Too risky to continue. Admiral Phillips made the right decision: turn back, get to safety. But a false report changed everything. Japanese forces landing at Kuantan. Phillips diverted to investigate. It was a mistake, a fatal mistake. The report was wrong: no invasion, no landing, just wasted time. And the diversion took them within range, within striking distance of Japanese air bases. At 06:30, Prince of Wales went to action stations. Lookouts scanned the sky. Gunners manned their weapons. The crew was alert, nervous. They knew they were vulnerable. No air cover, no friendly aircraft, just 2 ships and destroyers against whatever came. At 07:00, the first aircraft appeared. High-altitude bombers, 17 Mitsubishi G3M Nell bombers, flying at 10,000 feet. Anti-aircraft guns opened fire. Black puffs of smoke burst around the bombers. Some fell, most continued. Bombs dropped, falling toward the ships. Prince of Wales maneuvered, turning hard. The bombs missed, splashing near. Geysers of water, no hits, not yet. At 07:08 a.m. the second wave arrived. Torpedo bombers, 26 Mitsubishi G4M Betty bombers. Each carried 1 Type 91 aerial torpedo. The the same weapon used at Pearl Harbor, proven deadly. The bombers split into two groups, one for Prince of Wales, one for repulse. The torpedo bombers came in low, 50 feet above the water, fast, coordinated, professional. Japanese naval aviators were the best in the world, trained for years, experienced, expert. They knew exactly what to do. Prince of Wales opened fire with everything. The 25-inch guns, the pom-poms, the machine guns, tracers streaked across the water. Shells burst among the attackers. Two bombers fell crashing into the sea, trailing fire, but the others pressed on, closing to release range. At 0708, the first torpedo struck, port side, aft, near the outer propeller shaft. The explosion was massive. Water and steel erupted. The battleship shuddered. A column of spray shot 100 feet high. The crew felt the impact throughout the ship. This hit was critical, catastrophic. It struck the worst possible location: the propeller shaft, the steering gear, the rudder. The torpedo explosion damaged the port outer propeller shaft. The shaft twisted, broke, thrashing wildly. The damaged shaft tore through bulkheads, ruptured compartments, created a massive hole in the stern. Water flooded in, not just through the torpedo hole, but through the damage caused by the broken shaft. Worse, the explosion wrecked the steering gear. The rudder jammed. Prince of Wales could not steer, could not maneuver. She began turning in a slow circle, out of control. A sitting target, her greatest defense, her speed, her agility, gone. The damage also affected electrical systems. The explosion severed cables. Power failed in sections of the ship. Some guns lost power. Fire control systems went offline. Pumps stopped. Damage control became difficult. Coordination broke down. In the engine rooms, chaos reigned. The broken shaft vibrated violently. Steam pipes ruptured. Scalding steam filled compartments. Engineers died instantly. Others fled. Abandoned their posts. The remaining engines struggled. Power decreased. Speed dropped from 25 knots to 15 knots, then to 10 knots. Captain John Leach assessed the situation immediately. The damage reports were catastrophic: loss of steering, loss of speed, massive flooding. Prince of Wales was crippled, helpless, and more aircraft were coming. He did not order abandon ship. Not yet. They would fight to the end. At 0710, more torpedo bombers attacked. 9 aircraft. From different angles, coordinating, herding the crippled battleship. Prince of Wales turned slowly, uncontrollably, unable to evade, unable to maneuver effectively. The anti-aircraft guns fired, but fewer now. Power failures reduced effectiveness. Crews struggled, did their best. The bombers released at 800 yards. Torpedoes dropped, white wakes heading for the battleship. Multiple directions, no escape. Prince of Wales was trapped, helpless, doomed. 3 more torpedoes struck, port side, starboard side, forward, aft. Massive explosions, more flooding, more damage. The battleship listed to port, 5 degrees, 10 degrees. Water poured into compartments, through torpedo holes, through damaged plates, through hatches left open. Below decks was hell. Lighting failed. Emergency lights flickered. Men struggled in darkness. Waist-deep water, rising water, flooding compartments faster than pumps could handle. Damage control teams worked frantically, shoring bulkheads, closing valves, but the damage was too extensive, too severe. The ship was dying. At 0712, the 4th torpedo hit, then the 5th. Prince of Wales shuddered with each impact. The list increased, 15 degrees, 20 degrees. At 0715, high-level bombers returned, 8 aircraft flying at 10,000 feet. They targeted the crippled battleship. Bombs fell, heavy bombs, 500-kilogram bombs plunging from altitude, accelerating, unstoppable. 1 bomb struck amidships, penetrating the deck armor, not much armor, just 3 inches. The bomb punched through, exploded inside, near the catapult. Near the aircraft hangar, fire erupted, ammunition exploded. The blast killed dozens, wounded more, smoke poured from the wound. Another bomb hit the superstructure, the bridge area, exploding, destroying communications equipment, killing officers, wounding Admiral Phillips. He was hit by shrapnel, injured but conscious. Refused medical treatment, stayed on the bridge. Commanding, directing, dying, the bombs added to the chaos, to the destruction, to the death toll. Prince of Wales was being systematically destroyed. Beaten to death by bombs and torpedoes, she had no defense, no maneuver, no escape. She could only endure, only suffer, only die. At 07:18 the sixth torpedo struck, port side forward, the final blow, the fatal wound. At 07:18 Captain Leach gave the order. Abandon ship. The battleship was finished. The list was 25 degrees, increasing, flooding uncontrollable, power failing, guns silent. She would capsize soon. The crew had to evacuate. Now, the order was passed by voice, shouted deck to deck, down hatches, through compartments. The communication systems were destroyed. Men relied on shouting. On runners, on seeing others move toward the upper decks. But many never heard the order, trapped below in flooded compartments, in darkness, behind jammed hatches, in collapsed passageways. They pounded on steel, screamed, drowned, died. Those who could escape moved toward the starboard side, the high side away from the water. Life jackets were distributed, Carly floats thrown overboard, ropes deployed, men climbed down the hull, jumped into the water. The sea was warm, but oil-covered, black, thick. Breathing was difficult. Admiral Phillips and Captain Leach stayed on the bridge. They would not leave. Tradition, duty, honor. They would go down with the ship. Witnesses saw them, standing calmly, watching their crew evacuate, accepting their fate. At 07:20, Prince of Wales rolled heavily to port. 30 degrees, 40 degrees, the end was near. At 07:20, the battleship rolled completely over. The massive hull turned turtle, red bottom paint visible, propellers exposed, one propeller still turning slowly. The ship paused, upside down, floating. Men clung to the hull, to the bilge keels, to anything. Hundreds were still inside, trapped, pounding, screaming, drowning. Then she began the final plunge. The bow dipped. The stern rose. The ship tilted vertical, stood on her bow. The stern lifted clear of the water. The propellers, the rudder, the name plate visible, HMS Prince of Wales. Then she slid backward, into the depths, into 200 feet of water. A massive whirlpool formed, pulling men under, pulling debris. The suction was powerful. Men swam desperately, away from the vortex. Some succeeded, many did not, pulled under, drowned, lost. 12 minutes, from 07:08 when the first torpedo hit, to 07:20 when she disappeared. 12 minutes from powerful battleship to scattered wreckage. 12 minutes that killed 327 men. The sea closed over her. Burning oil marked the spot. Bodies floated. Survivors swam. Prince of Wales was gone. The destroyers moved in immediately. HMS Electra, HMS Express, HMS Vampire, they picked up survivors, pulling men from all-covered water. One by one, the work was dangerous. Japanese aircraft still overhead, more attacks possible, but the destroyers stayed, rescued, saved lives. Captain Leach's body was recovered. He had been on the bridge when the ship capsized. Admiral Phillips was never found. He went down with the ship, somewhere in the wreckage, entombed in steel. His body remains there today. The survivors were exhausted, covered in oil, many injured, burns, broken bones, shrapnel wounds. Some died after rescue, too injured, too weak. The medical teams worked frantically, treating, saving what they could. Of 1,612 men aboard Prince of Wales, 1,285 survived. 327 died. Lower casualties than Repulse proportionally, but still devastating. The newest British battleship, 9 months old, gone. Admiral Phillips, Captain Leach, senior officers, experienced crew, all dead, all lost. Force Z was destroyed. Britain's deterrent, Britain's power, eliminated in one morning. The sinking shocked the world. Britain's newest battleship, destroyed by aircraft, just 3 days after Pearl Harbor. Same lesson, the same result. Capital ships without air cover were doomed. The age of the battleship was ending. The age of the aircraft carrier had begun. Churchill was devastated. He wrote, "In all the war I never received a more direct shock." He understood immediately. British naval supremacy was challenged. The myth of invincibility shattered. Singapore was now vulnerable. Malaya would fall. The entire empire in Asia was threatened. Japan celebrated. Their airmen had sunk 2 British capital ships. Proved their tactics worked. Their training was superior. Their doctrine was correct. The victory boosted morale, confirmed their strategy, encouraged further aggression. For the Royal Navy, it was catastrophic. 2 capital ships lost, an admiral dead, hundreds of sailors killed. And the lesson was brutal. Naval warfare had changed. Adapt or die. There was no middle ground. Admiral Phillips made critical mistakes. He sailed without air cover, refused to request help from Singapore, maintained radio silence even when under attack, believed ships could defend themselves with anti-aircraft guns. He was wrong. The first torpedo hit doomed Prince of Wales, that single hit, striking the propeller shaft, wrecking steering, crippling mobility. Everything after was inevitable. A ship that cannot maneuver, cannot survive air attack, cannot evade torpedoes, cannot escape. The battleship's anti-aircraft armament was inadequate. The 5 25-inch guns were dual-purpose, good against surface targets, less effective against aircraft. The close-range weapons, pom-poms, machine guns, could not stop determined attackers, could not prevent torpedoes. Prince of Wales was designed to fight other battleships, gun duels at long range, not swarms of torpedo bombers at close range. She was the wrong ship, in the wrong place, at the wrong time, fighting the wrong battle. She never had a chance. Prince of Wales rests upside down in the South China Sea, in 200 feet of water, about 40 miles off Malaysia, near where Repulse lies, both ships, both grave. Both monuments to a changing era. The wreck has been surveyed, documented, photographed by divers. The hull is largely intact, the superstructure crushed by the weight, the gun turrets hang downward, the torpedo damage is visible, multiple holes in the hull, the propeller shaft damage evident. The wreck is a war grave. Protected by international law, but illegal salvage has occurred, parts removed, artifacts stolen. It is a disgrace, disrespectful to the dead. 327 men remain inside, their final resting place. Admiral Phillips is somewhere in the wreckage, never recovered, never found, entombed forever with his ship. Every year ceremonies remember them, honor them, ensure they are not forgotten. At 07:08 a.m. on December 10, 1941, HMS Prince of Wales was Britain's newest battleship. At 07:20 a.m. she was gone, 12 minutes. That was all it took, to transform a fighting warship into a steel coffin, to kill 327 men, to destroy British naval power in Asia. The 12 minutes changed history, proved aircraft-dominated naval warfare, showed battleships were obsolete without air cover, taught lessons written in blood, in steel, in lives lost. Prince of Wales served for 9 months, built for decades of service, lost in minutes. She fought Bismarck, damaged Hitler's pride, then died fighting Japan, victim of a new kind of warfare, a new reality. 327 men died with her, trapped inside, drowned, killed. They served faithfully, died bravely. They deserved better, a better mission, better support, better air cover. 12 minutes, a steel coffin. 327 lives. That was the price of lessons learned.